shares of Boeing and Caterpillar. What you see here, both of them higher. If these were in the red, the Dow would be in the red. These are the only two names that are keeping the Dow in the green right now. The Dow's still up about 69 points at the moment. We should flip over to some red here on Tesla. It's sputtering at this hour, down about 2%. Investors are waiting and watching to see whether CEO Elon Musk can navigate what could be a long and winding road to profitability following his settlement with the SEC this weekend. But despite being forced to step down as chairman, Elon may be more firmly behind the wheel than ever before at this company. Joining us now, Charlie Gasparino. Elon is set to play a pretty big role, I guess, in picking the new chairman, a position a lot of people say, babysitting
we're getting this like piecemeal now. We did a little report on it yesterday. We should point out there's two stories to Tesla right now for you, the average investor. There's the corporate governance story, which I'm going to get into in a minute. Then there's the financial story. How do they get, do they turn profitable in the third quarter? Do they get there through regular means or through a bunch of one-time accounting things? People are going to look at that. The stock will trade off of that. The other thing is the leadership of the company and how it takes shape post this SEC settlement, which forces him, at least on paper, to dilute his power in the company. He has to pick a new chairman. He will relinquish chairman for two years, I believe. Mm-hmm. So a new chairman must be selected. Plus, they need to put two, quote-unquote, independent directors on the board. Yep. Here's what we know. There is nothing as part of the SEC settlement that prevents Elon Musk from playing a major role in selecting any of those positions. And knowing what type of power he wields at this company, it's still his company. My guess is that, and what we're hearing from people close to the company, is he's going to have a fairly significant say in who gets those jobs. Now, what is that?
Hate him, no, maybe.
Is it some guy he can, quote unquote, work with? I mean, one of the problems with Tesla, as we know, is that it needs like a check and balance on him a little bit, right? Or a lot, I think is the best way to put it. So whoever gets that job is going to be key. Now, the theory is if he's playing a role selecting it, a lot of investors are saying, particularly short sellers, you should. I talk to short sellers all the time. Remember, they're negative on the stock. They want it to go down, so take it for where it's worth. They're saying, how independent can these people be if he's selecting them? And we should point out some of the names that are being bounced around. Eric Schmidt, pretty independent guy, no matter which way. I don't think he's going to ruin his reputation. That doesn't mean he's going to take it. It's the names that are being bounced around.
He ran Google, of course, right, yes. Came in as the adult in the room.
Andrew, I cannot say the guy's name. NG, it's spelled.
Andrew Ng.
Yeah, Ng. Tech executive, was at Google, yep. Did his own startup. Again, these are fairly significant guys and people that, I don't think she'll take it, but I mean, Sheryl Sandberg's name should be in the mix. She's very good at her job. I'm sure there'll be some push for a woman, to, have, at least consider some women. Those are the names I hear. The Times wrote about James Murdoch. They threw him as that name.
He sits on the board.
He sits on the board, and he is, as you know, one of the top executives here at 21st Century Fox.
Do I know?
As you know.
Yes, as I know.
We should point out that we put calls into 21st Century Fox. He had no comment. Times is reporting that. I have not been able to independently verify that, just so you know. So that's where we are. It's two stories here for you, the investor in Tesla. Pay close attention. The numbers, how they meet profitability. Do they meet it real? Or they meet it through gimmicks. If they meet it real, that stock goes way up. Meet it through gimmicks, it's not going to be too impressed. And second, corporate governance. Who is going to watch over Elon? Will they have the power to tell him to stop, and to focus on producing cars, not on tweeting about Thailand cave divers and stuff like that?
All right, the stock is still up more than 11.33%.
Since when?
Pick your time. Quarter to date, month to date, week to date.
Yeah. It's up.
It's down year over year.
Listen, this is a great story. Okay. I mean, there's a lot writing on this. From a social standpoint, think of it. This guy wants to change the world. Then there's the market story. Are we allowing our vision for the future and our what we want the world to look like to be clouded by numbers and pure market? And that's what's fascinating about this story. It combines everything.